All right, man. Welcome to the Portnoy Show with Eddie and Company, presented by High Noon.
Yeah, High Noon, real vodka, real juice, Eddie. The real fuck sitting here. I could have drank 30 of them by the time you got your. What is that office? We spent all this money. You're bouncing around 9 different setups. You can't get it to work. What the fuck is going on over there? I could have literally had 3,000 High Noons by the time you got. I don't know. It's the incompetence. That's what drives me crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's the tech guy? I don't understand. Yeah, what? How do you guys do anything?
Yeah, it's not good. I'm not happy about it, but I don't know what to say. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say.
If people didn't see it, the guy's bouncing around. He 15 different sets trying to get it to work. It's like, let's try this. What the fuck's going on out there?
Yeah, I don't know. The tech didn't work, so. Yeah.
Real vodka, real juice.
Check out the limited edition tailgating pack with new flavors, pear and cranberry. Head over to your local liquor store to get some today. Big show.
Because Danny Boy's coming on with, I guess, Ruiz. Like, I don't even know. Like, where people can even fucking tell me, Danny. You know how I found out Danny Boy Kane was coming on the show? I saw him tweet about it. Well, I'm like, what? I'm like, what? And then he calls me while I'm doing my Hut Boy walk. I walk now, like, to get my coffee in the morning. Round trip, 3.2 miles. I sweat my fucking dick off. It's 1,000 degrees here. It's a Hut Boy walk. I'm walking, trying to burn some calories. That's what I do now. My phone fucking rings. It's Danny Boy Kane. He's like, John Ruiz's wife or something called. It's like, can John Ruiz come on the show? He's like the Miami Life Wallet booster. It's like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on, Danny. Like, he's like, well, give him the number. It's like, I didn't ask you. I didn't even know you were going to be on the show. I didn't have time to prepare for it. To be honest, because I didn't know he was going to be on the show till he tweeted about it.
Because that's how we found out too, Dave. Because we asked him and he didn't respond. And then he came out and his announcement to saying yes was through that. Isn't that correct, Kareem?
Yeah, he tweeted before he even messaged us back saying he'd come on. He just tweeted and said, I slept on it. I'm coming on. But that was like 3 days ago.
So I'm not prepared.
Well, this is 10 years in the making, though. I'm in
a really bad mood.
Why are you in a bad mood?
Because you couldn't get your technology to work, because I didn't have time to prepare.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with the tech.
What?
The tech doesn't have anything to do with not having time to prepare.
No, I know. 2 different reasons. 1 + 1 = 2.
Sure. Well, I can't. I mean, listen, technology's been the fucking name of the game for the show the last 2 weeks. So last week it was you. This week it's us. Obviously.
Sorry, I got hit by a hurricane. What's your excuse?
I don't know. Shit just doesn't work. So, listen, I don't know what you want me to say. It's not fucking good. There's nothing I can really say about it. So I apologize. But I don't know fucking.
Danny Boy Kane. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like, because like the Ruiz guys is going to, I don't know. We'll see I just wanted to talk to Danny Boy, but I got the sense he wasn't going to do it without Ruiz. So we'll see.
Well, that's what we said. So I was like, well, he asked if Ruiz could come on. I said, well, why don't you come on first? And then you could ask Dave and then we could go from there. And I think that's where we left it. So whenever he's in, bring him in. But how besides that, I mean, you seem to enjoy Rutgers. Let's try to get the train on the tracks a little bit.
That's the question. I seem to enjoy Rutgers.
Well, yeah. Let's get into the weekend, the streams, the week. Like let's.
Yeah,
go.
no, I enjoyed Rutgers.
One fucking
I enjoyed
time,
Rutgers.
You've been such a baby the last 3 weeks.
That's not a question. You seem to enjoy Rutgers.
Yeah, I like Rutgers. They were nice to me. They were good. The campus was
Of course they're nice to me. Everywhere I go, they're nice. We do our campuses. The campus had more, as I said on the show, the Rutgers campus had more grass than I thought. I thought it was a nice campus where it was a huge crowd. Rutgers thinks of football. I don't know why they think New Jersey is a great high school recruiting spot. Seems like they should be able to put a good team together. Shiano had them going before he left the last time. Now they stink. Nebraska stinks. I had a great time. The show was good. Friday Night Lights.
Thank you. That's it. That's a quick answer.
No one gives a fuck about that.
Yeah, but maybe there's something that people would give a fuck about, Dave.
About that rant? You know what I care about? Troy Aikman, that's what I care about. People get mad. They said, take the dresses off. If you have a problem with that, then you shouldn't watch football, and you should be forced to wear a dress with people yelling shame, holding a football, walking down the street. All right? That's something I want to talk about, not Rutgers.
Go, all right. Well, all right. I like that. I could work with that. We got some guests coming on after Danny Boy Kane who wants to talk about that. In fact,
who?
Your father. He's really he's upset about it.
All right.
All right. Good. Yeah, he's here.
Who's
man? Take 2 guesses.
Who is
take
that?
3 guesses. That's me.
Danny.
That's the man himself speaking.
But I can't see you, Danny.
Yeah, let me see how. Yeah. A minute, Dave. I'm trying to get myself in here for some reason. Yeah. I can't get my video to work on my end. But you can.
I just see a thing. It's on Zoom. It says Daniel Rivera is talking, but we can't see you.
Yeah. Let me. The host asked me to start. Yes. Let's start that now. Let me see.
I think we got you. There you are.
There you are. I'm walking as I'm talking to you.
That's what I'm doing. The Hut Boy walks. Danny Boy Kane, welcome to the show. A long time coming.
Yes, it's been. Was it a decade plus in the making?
At least that long. And I said it. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I felt in case we lose power, because my phone's at 20%, so I'm talking to you from my phone. So if I lose power, please forgive me for that.
Of course. So, Danny, we traded DMs a little bit, and I don't know if you caught any of our show yesterday, but
I did not.
My biggest wager of the weekend, and it speaks to me, and I said it, was on the University of Miami because you guaranteed victory, and I didn't even hesitate because I've followed you for a long time, and I don't think I've ever seen you guarantee a Miami win before, and I was like, Danny guaranteed it. I didn't give it a second thought. I'm going in on Miami.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I guaranteed it, Dave, if you allow me to talk about that. Going into the week, we had lost to Middle Tennessee 2 weeks before. We were coming off a bye week. Mario Cristobal, when he was at Oregon, off bye weeks, were 5-0. Was 5-0. I felt confident. And I don't guarantee wins that much now, given how we suck now. But going in, I felt very, very confident we would beat North Carolina. Knowing they had beaten us the last 3 years going in, I really felt very good, given that the players were pretty angry. They wanted to really come out and make a statement. Apparently that did not happen until the second half. But, I felt very good after the field goal. We stole 3 points off an interception that I felt we were going to win. Apparently, that did not happen. The turnover killed us, the 4th and 2 turnover. It hurt. It hurt, Dave. I'm not going to lie. And then they go on a big boy drive, take 8 minutes off the clock to get a field goal. They basically put the game away at that point.
Yeah, and Danny, here's a question for you. And I've run into this. My number one team that I root for is the Patriots. I'm like a lot of people say I'm the face of the Patriots fandom. You have become very tied in with not just being a fan of Miami, but you are now sort of part of the regime, I would say. You're very close with the Ruizes. The Ruizes obviously are super close with Cristobal. As a Miami fan, does that make it hard for you to be objective? Because, anybody who's in this situation, you may hate the play calling. You may be like, this team stinks. But you're kind of tied in with that regime. Does that make it harder for you to be objective?
I could be objective from time to time, but yeah, it's a little tough. But you know what? I've been a diehard Kane fan since the early 80s. And I got to tell you, it's tough seeing us lose like the way we have. But you know something, Dave? And mark my words when I say this. The fruits of Mario's labor by the end of the season will begin to pay off. You like when you grow a tree?
Yep.
When you got to put a seed in the soil.
Yep.
Right? You put the seed in, you got to let it grow. You got to let that grow. And I've come to realize, you know what? Got to chalk it up,
So do you think expectations were too high then coming into the season?
I looking back on it now after 5 games, I got to say yes. The reason I say that is because, okay, you lose to A&M, that's one thing. But you lose to Middle Tennessee, and you lose
and they're
to
terrible,
North
by the
Carolina.
way. Middle Tennessee is not a good football team.
No, I mean
they got
that's
crushed last week. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a very bad loss they had to Birmingham. I mean, very bad loss. But listen, by the end of the year, you're going to start to see the fruits of Mario's labor begin to pay off. I really do.
So switching gears a little bit, and
sure.
Danny, I like I said, I followed you forever. The video that's not named, which I know people still, they bust your balls about it. The bear, all that. Where do you sit on that? Like what like that video to me, it's so internet 1.0, and it was what the internet was at that point. Does it still bother you? Do you sit back and laugh at? Like, what is your thought?
My thinking is, Dave, is, you know what? I get a chuckle out of it, you know? Because considering where I was then, as you can see now, I'm much lighter than I was back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, my battery's starting to go low, so hopefully I can stay on with you a little longer.
Yeah, so do you still how many people do you still get people every day doing that, like busting your balls?
It happens, David. But you know what? So somebody told me a couple days ago, it comes with the territory.
It does. You've reached the top of the game. Everybody wants to. Heavy is the head who wears the crown is the old expression. What
That
about?
is very true.
Do you know a couple legendary names? And this opportunity I could ask, like Big Papa Kane, Hulkacaniac. Those are two of the guys you referenced. Have any communication with those guys?
Maybe one or two, but that's really nothing really of note, to be honest.
Yeah. So what's the big game now circled the rest of the way? Obviously, you still got the big rivalry games coming up.
Yeah, we got FSU, but to me, we're on to Virginia Tech. That's the only game I care about this week is Virginia Tech. And
I saw you tweet out they're gonna win, but you don't guarantee it.
No,
a lot of people were wondering what does that mean exactly.
That means is no, I'm not going to guarantee a win. Not going to do that again. And once we start getting good again and being where we need to be, then I'll start the guarantees. But until then, it's just beat Virginia Tech this week. That's all it is to it. I expect to win. I expect to win that game. But, Virginia Tech was terrible last week against Pittsburgh. I mean, my goodness.
I'll tell you, what did you think of what I thought watching the game, and I watched every play of that Miami game. I thought the stubbornness they had of trying to run the ball up the middle when they clearly could not run the ball up the middle on like third and short, fourth and short. I thought that cost them the game. I thought if you threw the ball every play, they would have scored a touchdown every single drive.
And Gaddis even mentioned that yesterday in his presser yesterday. I mean, he said that. But Dave, listen, when you rush 24 times for 42 yards, you against a Carolina defense that's terrible against the run, you're not going to win. It's just that simple.
Do you remember, Danny, on one of your spaces, I said something about Gaddis because I'm a Michigan. I went to Michigan.
Yes.
And I said the people inside that program said he left because he was going to get passed over, and they weren't unhappy about it when they thought Harbaugh was leaving. So, and it may be some of that play calling that we saw the other day. But I don't know, Danny. I mean, it was a tough one. The hopes are high. And every time Miami struggles, the same conversation of where they play too far from campus, no home field advantage.
Yeah.
What do you think of all that?
I think, number one, I'm happy where we are now at Hard Rock. But, yes, ultimately, we are going to get a new stadium at Tropical Park. I mean, let's make no bones about that. John Ruiz and the Ruiz family have made that very. No, he couldn't come on. He got tied up in meetings. He's not going to be available. He wasn't available. I thought he was too. I spoke to Life Wallet rep before I came on, and he was not. And he was not. He was unavailable today.
Got it. So, Danny, how long now? How long till would you say Miami fans can go into the season with the expectations they have this year, except not be let down?
I would say give me about usually year 3, year 4. That's when you want to start to see the fruits of your labor begin to pay off.
All right, and I'll let you go on this, Danny, because I know your battery's going, and I don't want to keep you forever. I appreciate you coming on.
Sure, anytime, man.
If we look back at the last 10 years or wherever that first video to where you are now, what would you say, and this is a tough question, is the most surreal part of your journey to really being the preeminent Miami fan and tied in? And people are going to think this is a joke. With the Ruizes and Cristobal, Danny Boy Kane is tied in at the highest levels of Miami athletics. You really are.
Oh, no kidding. I don't see myself that way. I really don't. I mean, I'm just a fan that cares about this team and will continue to care about this team, win or lose. You know, I do my podcast. I do all that. I do spaces, as you know. I do podcasts. In fact, I'm doing one tomorrow with Son of Saturdays, Virginia Tech's podcast group. And I'm doing another one on Thursday with the color analyst for Virginia Tech, preview the game. So basically, it's been a hell of a ride, Dave. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I think I've been blessed. I've had a hell of a run, and I look forward to see what the future holds.
All right, there he is, the one and only Danny Boy Kane. Eddie, you got a question?
Yeah, can you just give it to us, Danny? You said year 3, so I could feel it. Can you say year 3 of Cristobal is the return of the monster, so everybody can?
I would say year 3, no later than year 4.
Give it return of the monster.
Yes.
Can you say it?
I could definitely say return of the monster.
Yes.
Year 3, Danny Boy Kane. There's nobody else like him. I appreciate it, Danny. Go Canes.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me on.
See you later.
Thank you, Danny.
1 in a million. He's. I mean, it says more. And it's always, by the way, a dangerous balance with him because he doesn't like, you got to keep it real.
Yeah.
It says a lot about my brain, and I said it on the rundown, that I didn't even hesitate when he guaranteed Miami. I put oodles of money on that game. Like I'm responsibly retired right now because of 2 games. LSU, who I was dead ass wrong about, and that Miami game.
But you know he continuously picks them to go like 11-1, 12-0.
He doesn't guarantee wins. I follow him. He doesn't do that. He does not guarantee Miami wins. He just doesn't.
So where are you at on Virginia Tech? He didn't guarantee it, but he says
no. I'm retired. I said that the first time I gave him a little attitude when he said they're going to win, but I don't guarantee it. And I said, yeah, you can't do that. Good men died out there.
What'd you lay on him this weekend?
A lot. I'm not going to reveal numbers.
Why is that?
Why don't I want to reveal? Because it's like, you don't know who's listening. It's like, there's starving children in Africa, and I'm out here losing quite a bit.
Oh, you're starting to get the rich guilt?
No, it's not rich guilt. It's just like, it's like crazy. It's like, even I know it's crazy. It's like, what are you fucking doing? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is that going to be a thing going forward? You're not going to reveal the units or just kind of?
I don't reveal units all that much unless, and I know I did more last year for like big games that trying to like get promotion, tune in, but I haven't this year, I don't think, said much. Maybe one or twice.
So we're laying low this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not laying low. It's like that's a lay low game. Maybe if it's like a Monday night football game or like a singular, but a random Miami UNC game in the middle of like college football Saturday, not as much.
So you'll reveal a big primetime game.
Yeah, I mean, there's no hard and fast rules, but
yeah, like Dallas, Tampa Bay, you did week.
And it's more like if it's my pick, that was Danny Boy's pick. Like I had no opinion on that game.
He was the
except
guest
that Danny Boy. And then Big Cat came in the morning. He's like, I went to my local donut shop and they had a donut called Danny Boy. I'm like, oh, well, I gotta like triple it then, and I did.
And so, correct me if I'm wrong. That's the first time you and him have
talked.
Really? Yeah,
on our networks. I guess we've done it without seeing each other. I've been on his spaces a lot.
So he's warming up. He's turned down pizza reviews. He's turned down going to games with you. This is
I think it was an interesting question, or I should say answer. When I'm like, what do you think of the original video? Because even though he said he can get a chuckle, he blocks you pretty quick. He doesn't like being made fun of for that. He did say he sees the humor in it all these years after. But, we've always danced that line where I think he's like, are these guys making fun of me? And obviously I poke fun at a lot of stuff, but I truly find him wildly entertaining and like him. So I'm not trying to like be an asshole. And I do like interacting with him. And I think he's come around to see that I'm not just trying to use him for pure like mocking. Like obviously I'm tongue in cheek with stuff, but I do like him.
But you put a lot of work into gaining goodwill with him for this appearance, for sure.
Yeah, I haven't. Right.
Yeah. So he feels more comfortable with you.
I'm not trying to like I just didn't ambush him right there.
No. Like someone could ambush them, say, "Oh, there's a tree, got attacked," or whatever.
Correct.
And you didn't.
I asked like serious questions, like the bear, like you could tell. Even I think at the end, he didn't want to be like, he doesn't want to be like a prop, like like the Return of the Monster. Like he didn't. It seemed like he didn't want to say that.
Okay. I didn't read that then. I also think maybe it's a thing where we only saw him through text and, text and I don't know.
No, Danny Boy, listen. Danny Boy continues and will always do things that make him, in my eyes, the GOAT. Like after they lost to Middle Tennessee State, I sent this to Dan. His reaction video, his YouTube, I think it was 17 minutes long. The first 10 minutes was just Mario Cristobal's press conference. It was 10 minutes before Danny Boy came on or said a word. It was 10 minutes. I think his first words as well, Mario summed it up. That was his reaction, but it's not meant to be funny at all. It's just, that's Danny Boy. He just does things that like the most brilliant comedy writers in a room couldn't do to try to create his character like the right way. Like, what's Danny Boy going to do about this Middle Tennessee debacle? He had a 17-minute video that he didn't speak for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's Danny Boy.
Yeah. I mean, it's
he's Internet 1.0. Those guys it's really, really hard for those guys to come out anywhere because everybody's got an agenda. Everyone's trying to go viral. Danny Boy, no. He just... Big Papa Kane, Hulkamaniac, they just got to him in that video. It's my number one, and it'll probably be if like aliens landed on Earth and you're like, describe early internet, I'd be like, here, this is the early internet. This is what it was.
That's it. And I do love the aspect. He was kind of like the Undertaker. He told us an hour before he's coming on, and he told us right when he got on, I got 20% battery. You don't got me long. So
I mean, even that, I guess he must have been really fat. I don't understand like that answer of like, what's the difference? He's like, well, I'm walking.
He noticeably looks better.
I think he's a good mindset. And it really, again, even the journey, right? Mm-hmm. From that video, I'm not exaggerating. The Ruizes are the most influential people in Miami athletics, maybe the school. Mm-hmm. Like as important as the president, whoever. Do you want to say it? They're that influential. Yeah.
I think they're like making all the NIL deals, right?
Correct. Yeah. The new stadium, them. Like their Cristobal. I told you, when I went to Miami basketball, I was introduced to Mario Cristobal like I was fucking Nevin Shapiro. They're like, this guy's going to be really good for the program. I'm like, what? But so to go from just a guy on the message board to where he is now, only the internet. Only Danny Boy Kane.
He's a legend. And if you're looking to go, let's get some fans out to
game time. I'd love to go to a game with him. He's also very positive. He turns it around quick. I will say I've never heard him be overly negative, but he is in one of those tough spots. Like, I know the Crafts know everything I say about the Patriots. I know that. So it's like, I'm being honest how I feel about them now, but I know that they see what I say. Like, I'll never forget after it was Deflategate and the Mitchell, not the Mitchell report, the other report that they did for what the fuck?
Yeah.
Whatever.
What the fuck was it? Why this is all you guys talked about for like 8
I know
minutes.
My brain's slowly going away. But whatever the report was, Bob Kraft came out and gave a press conference. And I want to say within 5 minutes, they're like, how do you think that press conference played? Like they knew where like that I had influence on Patriot fans and they paid attention. So he's in that spot. My pen just moved. I thought it was an ant. I bet if you fucking rewind that, my eyes got wide. I didn't know an ant. I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was a black big bug. Game time. If you want to go watch games, me, Danny Boy, any of the games we're going to, all the games. We're going to be at LSU actually in 2 weeks. Sucks they lost to Ole Miss. I love Mincy being like, can I go to Ole Miss LSU? I think that was his code. Will you pay for me? Because Mincy, you're going either way, buddy. You like go to games every weekend. What do you mean, do I have permission to go? You're going no matter what. Created by fans, for fans. Game Time is a ticketing app that makes it easier than ever. Score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concert, shows. They guarantee the lowest price. If you haven't given Game Time a shot yet, don't know what you're waiting for. These guys are going to love you're going to love the app. MLB playoffs. Yeah, Yankees games. The Mets are obviously sayonara. And with MLB playoffs underway, now the time to give Game Time a shot. Tons of Barstool fans using it. The Phillies also in it. Hitting us up on social about the great deals they're getting. I've been using Game Time all year. I'm going to concerts, games, you name it, I've gone. So easy to use, amazing deals, fastest growing tickets app in the U.S. You're going to love it. Download the Game Time app, go to the account tab to create a login, redeem code DPS for 20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Boom, go do it.
With the Ted Wells report, by the way.
Yeah, the Wells report. Yeah. All right, Gad, since you're here, I mean, let's talk about Dave's kind of a 3-tweet battle with Barstool Maine social account.
There's battles happening all over the place. Rico is coming at me. He's blogging all kinds of shit, which is entertaining. Good for him.
Rico is in a weird way. I don't want to say digging his own grave. He's good at writing. He can write. And I've said this to him. I don't get on people who can't write to write because what good does that do? Unfortunately, I think for Rico's work ethic, he's a good writer. So when he doesn't write, it's pure laziness.
He's a good writer, and he's great when he's with you guys. Other than that, nothing works.
Well, yes. No, he's good with Kirk. But
yeah, did you see he wants $100,000 to go work with Kirk?
That was
1 day a week plus travel.
That was unbelievable. I thought it was a joke. Dan told me about that, and then I did some research, and it was serious. But no, but by the way, being good with Dan and I and being a good writer is more than enough to have a good job. So, I mean, that's enough. You don't need more.
Do you maybe there's a sense where he prefers, obviously he just prefers to do college basketball. He wants to do audio stuff though, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, the world needs ditch diggers too. Nate wants to do a poker podcast and wants to do all this other stuff, and he's not the most talented at it. Where Rico gets caught up is he cannot take the truth, constructive criticism, or any of it. Like, I wasn't mean about that college basketball podcast. It was terrible and did no numbers. That's the facts. You tried it. It didn't work. And he takes that as an attack. It's not an attack. Anybody else with a brain would be like, yep, you're right. Got to move and try something else.
And I think his argument would be, and he's not here, but there's other podcasts who I'm sure did worse than that are still on the network, or they didn't have live shows. They would have sponsors like High Noon.
High Noon, and I've said this to him. If High Noon wasn't like, we need to be on that podcast. High Noon does a spend, and it's just whatever's there. But no, I don't know what I don't know of other podcasts that wasted more resources and time than that one, really.
All right, and then Gaz, what do you think about him coming at you? Where did this beef begin? What's the link?
Yeah, he's always had this thing that I have this agenda. It's like the agenda to take down Rico. That I have this army of people to take down Rico. I think the best thing our team does is highlight Rico. I think we promote Rico more than maybe anyone else.
Rico's a psychopath. If you read the Clemmer blog, it's dead on. He did nothing to create any sort of rivalry with Rico. And Rico takes personal, mean shots at Clemmer. And Rico's always like, I don't pick fights. Well, what do you call that? You're over the top, personal, mean, And then if Clemmer says something back, like he's his act has worn thin. And I like Rico. But what I've in the last month or so tried to make it super clear, you don't get a pass just because you do pick him with me and Dan. Like, do more. All he is excuse after excuse after excuse. Guess what? What he's done this last week is good, and the writing's good. But that's your job. You shouldn't be getting attaboys. You're doing your job. That's it. Do that. I'll never be on him about work ethic or anything like that.
Give me Rico the last 2 weeks over what you guys did to him post high noon thing, where he was just a neutered little dog walking around like a puppy, like being miserable. Like, I'm glad he's off the leash. The Clemmer thing's crazy. I don't mind if he goes at me about shit, whatever. I think that's good. So yeah, I mean, it's good to have him back a little bit, in my opinion.
So totally. Essentially, if he just does pick them and he writes how many blogs a week, would you say? What's a 15? Fair amount? 15 blogs a week, and he calls into Kirk's show once a week, a couple times a week.
Calling into Kirk's show is nothing.
It doesn't count.
That doesn't get anything.
That was like him calling into any other radio show, right? He does that. I mean,
that's just his, and that's kind of what I went on the rant, like where people think that's like you're doing your, like, I for whatever, better or for worse, have never really had, like, if I have to start clocking you and be like, quota 15 blogs, that's bad. Like, I do not do that. And I don't even like when we do it from up top. Like, you should come into this company and be self-started and self-motivated to make your personal star as big as possible and create equity in yourself. So if we don't want you anymore, you can go somewhere else and get big deals. Like, if I have to motivate you to do that, something is totally off and wrong. Rico, actually, contrary to popular belief, I like, and I've known him obviously forever. He has gotten more leniency and benefit of the doubt with absolutely no gratitude or acknowledgement of the free ride he's gotten than anybody I've had work for us. Like, I don't, like, what's her name? Alex Bennett, like, was begging just for me to, like, sit down and talk to her for, like, half an hour a week. Like, just to talk about, like, how to build, do this. I've spent more time trying to coach up Rico than anybody. And he spits it back in my face prior to these 2 weeks. Like,
now, if there were an argument to make here, now some people get away with more, and I'm not comparing him to Alex Cooper in the sense of, like, she brought in millions, monster podcast, #1 female podcast in the world. No doubt. But
I've said that always.
But Dave, like, the amount of content, like, he's given, like, you've been in with him and intertwined and webbed with you and Dan. Like, is there an argument that that's meant a lot as far as, like, content worth versus, like, dollars worth? Does that make sense? Because you always say, like, content wins as well. Like, how much?
Yeah. But any show that Dan and I are on together, the third chair is gonna be in a lot of content that's probably pretty good. You're looking at what? 2 of the premier content creators, not only at our company, but on the internet. So if you can't create good content with me and Dan, you're dead.
But you guys are unreal at pulling out content out of him. Like that, when he goes on his own, he's not you. He's not Rico. He's something different, and it's not as entertaining. You guys are awesome at making stars. Like,
there's a little bit of Nate in Rico, or a lot of it, and I don't mean as put down. Rico wants to control the narrative on Rico. Like, what he does and why it works is he's off. Like, people are like, oh, it's an act. It's not an act. Like, it is. There's zero acting on Rico on Pick'em. He gets out there. He's mad. He's like, it's him, but it's great.
Yeah. And I guess to say against that, guys, like, his calls early on, like, those were direct calls. Like, those were bits that he came up with, though, you know, and granted, like, you with Dave and Dan played off them, but that wasn't something
but there's I agree with you, but there's a like college basketball, he wants to be like insider. It's like he wants to be taken seriously. Like it's just not what we do.
Yeah. So you like him in the mold where he's being either pit bully, crazy, or when he's like,
listen, and maybe this is my fault. He comes in and asks me all these things. I rarely say no to content ideas. It's like, I don't know, maybe it'll work. Like maybe it won't. KFC famously said fucking Call Her Daddy was the worst idea we've ever had at this company. I don't know it's going to work. Like, not everything is my cup of tea. So if you want to try stuff, Rico, fucking try it. But you don't need budget. Like, get up, do it yourself. He's like, he acts like he came from outside of when he's with us. Sometimes he acts like he came from a network. And I mean that in the sense he needs a producer. He needs this. He needs that. It's like, you don't need dick. Go do it. And if it works, it works. Like the numbers say it works. He was allowed to do this college basketball thing for a year. It failed miserably. Not like, is it right? It failed miserably. And that's not me attacking Rico.
You're not a fan of straight man Rico.
It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're saying, like before he's anything, like like he wouldn't have been hired if he was straight. He was hired based on his calls being very electric.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, I'm sure you guys will get into it and pick them. So go check that out. When does that come out?
Pick them?
Yeah. Thursdays?
Yeah.
That's Rico. But I agree. Like the Clemmer shit is just like, I don't know why he's
he'll turn that around to he's somehow the victim there. Like that's how insane he is. Like what Clemmer didn't do, you're sitting there calling the guy an alcoholic. He hasn't done anything to you. It's because he's buddies with Kirk. But fine. But like don't cry and not like he showed up the other day to the live stream and Cons was there and just did a 180 and left. It's like, what? All right. Well, I mean, I and it is crazy Rico, but just you can't have it both ways. Yeah.
Yeah. And unless that's like purely a Kirk bit and with him.
Not doing it, even if it is a bit, like fine, it's a bit. But like he and Clemmer now will like Clemmer seems more rational, but like Rico will say Clemmer threw the first punch. I guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. There was no cameras around. Clemmer walked up to him to say hi, and Rico just turned around and was like he would never look at him, like, which is, yeah. I mean, Rico and Kirk are perfect for each other. We'll go see how that ends up. But
do you think that will end up poorly, guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, I've said that from the beginning.
If you had a prediction, what could you foresee going wrong? Like, what could be?
Who fucking knows? You name it. I don't know. Who knows?
How do you predict those two guys?
Yeah.
All right, Dave, let's talk about Omega Accounting Solutions before we move on.
If your business suffered significant financial losses or had to shut down in part or in full during the pandemic, you may be eligible for ERC, Employee Retention Credit, the powerful payroll tax credit. Can we see if Kirk's available? I'd love to have Kirk on right now. ERC was passed as part of the CARES Act to help small businesses recover from the pandemic, and Omega can help your business get up to $26,000 per employee using the ERC. Now's the time to act before the government's filing window closes and this refund is gone for good. Omega Accounting Solutions is a government's tax incentive expert, office services and business intelligence, fractional accounting, and analytics. Omega is a small business champion, helping small business owners navigate the complexities of the accounting process, particularly for the immense opportunities around the ERC. Omega empowers small and mid-sized businesses, also SMB, small business owners, to make informed decisions through powerful accounting data analytics and insightful reporting. A 10-minute call to Omega's ERC specialist could help your company recover up to $26,000 per employee. Call Omega Accounting Solutions at 800-704-2000. That number again, 800-704-2000, or go to omegataxcredits.com to learn more.
All right. So, but we really didn't cover that. So there were three things you commented on this main social. Obviously, with the half-court shot, someone's getting comfortable. The argument with Rico without contact.
Well, the half-court shot, that was a total joke by me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a total. You think I give a fuck about that?
All right, just checking. You never know. Sometimes.
Do you? I'm asking you, Eddie.
Well, now that you're saying it, now I know. But like, I don't.
But I'm at you.
Do you think he took offense to that?
You never know, dude.
I'm asking you, Eddie. Do you think I was like that fucker who posted that?
I don't think you were like that, but I think there was. I mean, when you have 3 in a row, it makes it more believable. Put it that way.
I'm asking you, Eddie. When that was posted, did you think I was really mad?
I told you I didn't see that in real time. So when I do the research for the show, I go through your Twitter feed, and when I saw 3 in a row, I was like, all right, maybe that actually was some credence to that. So I'm just telling you that.
It's tough. Nobody, if anybody, let me put it this way. Anybody who thinks there was even 1% of me being mad about that has not been following along for the almost 20 years now that we've been doing this. I would say Gaz probably, as well as anybody, and probably Dan and Kevin, knows when I'm like actually mad, who I'm mad about, and like certain storylines, like the Gaz and 11, like I am needling him a little bit, like control your fucking ship, because he's out in Miami all the time and is not trapped. But I was mad about that. I'm like, this is a fucking idiotic tweet. I was stunned that it was Jack Mack, because Jack Mack knows a shit ton about college football. So I don't know how he didn't know that or forgot that Daniel Jones went to Duke, because that, you can forget where guys went. That's not one of them, because that's like a big storyline that Cutcliffe and Duke, and by the way, those were giant super fans. Like, I've met the guy that's like license plate guy I've met. So that makes us look really stupid. And anytime our social looks dumb, it's Gaz. It's the top of.
Well, it's me, and then it's also worse. It's you. Like, you get people being like,
yeah.
That's
but
why
it's also like, and again, my thoughts on Bald Paul. He's been doing this, second longest at this company, right? So nobody's going to expect Bald Paul to work as hard as Bald Paul was working 15 years ago. Myself included. I don't work as hard. I still work hard, but I don't do what I did. And none of us do. Kevin doesn't. Dan doesn't. Tom Brady said he's not going to training camp. Like, sorry, I've been doing it for fucking 2 decades. The same fucking thing. Yeah, I like the ability to leave and not be tied and glued to everything. Paul's guys are. Like, it's actually surreal to go to the gambling streams and see how hard our people are working. And it's not lost on me, and I probably don't attaboy it enough. But, like, that, Paul maybe doesn't always see that. Like, it because especially being removed. Like, we have a very good crew of guys. And yeah, I'll get mad on that tweet, but I'm not going to stay overly mad at Jack Mack. I was stunned it was him. I thought it was going to be somebody who didn't know football. But Jack Mack works his fucking dick to the bone. He's on wherever I am, when I'm in New York or Jersey or whatever, he's fucking there working. So, and he's become somehow a personality. I don't get that, because he's fucking so boring and I don't think good on camera. But the numbers are the numbers. The numbers are the numbers. He's good. So, yeah, no, I'm not. And this goes weirdly back to Rico. If you're putting in the effort, you're not going to stay in my doghouse for more than 5 seconds. You're really not. So, like, I didn't know who did it. When Paul told me it was Jack Mack, I was just kind of stunned. I was like, really? That's fucking stunning.
I mean, I also think it's a situation too where, like, he's probably more mad at himself than anybody could ever get mad.
100%.
Like, that's such a
100%.
It was a mistake. So, he knew it. Like, he knew he went to Duke, but like, he was shot. He didn't.
Yeah. So, I mean,
and just to echo, I mean, I know those guys. Like, we stay in touch. Like, that was a big thing about being down here and staying in touch with these guys. Like, we talk nonstop. We have a chats like all morning. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And that one, he fired up. He's like, I should have asked it. And I think he tweeted that. He's like, I wish I did that. Like, Jack, like, you get in the heat. I actually wish at some point, like Dave said, being, 15 years, and I don't nearly post. I actually had him post the NBA, the half court shot. That was like, I was like, put this in there because we're trying to promote whatever we do at the Invitational in Philadelphia. Those tickets are on sale now too for that basketball tournament we're doing. But, I do wonder, because I wish, part of me is like, it would be great to just be able to sit there and just like tweet all day again. Like there's 50, 60 people on our team. And it's like, there's a lot of shit that goes on trying to do that. Dave doesn't really manage people. So it's like a little bit different. There's
but for social, Paul, like you can't go out. Like literally things are going like like last night I was asleep. I went to bed at halftime of Monday Night Football. Like I went to bed pretty much after the sack that again, they fucked up, but I didn't like see the Adams push till I woke up. And then I even tweeted sort of wrong because I read the article on ESPN and saw what he said at the locker, which is very different than what he tweeted out. Like he made it almost seem like the guy fell down on his own. And by the way, I signed up for Twitter fucking Blue. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Why did you do that?
Because I like on the first post I made about Javonte Adams, like it looked weird. Like I tried to put his quote above the video. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I in my head, I'm like, can I edit things now? So I was just going to clear the link. So I went to do it, and it's like, sign up for Twitter Blue to edit. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll sign up. It's $5. I'm like, I'll just delete. I will never delete like what I said. But if you go look at what I tweeted, it's like formatted improperly. Yeah. So I was trying to fix that. I did it, and I still can't edit. And it now takes like 5 seconds for my tweets to this. So I don't know. I think what I think happened? I think I got bent over and fucked by Musk.
Twitter Blue fucked you.
And then I was worried. I'm like, wait a minute, did I just get a check mark by accident? Which thank God I didn't.
To put a bow on that though, like the guys work there, they post a fuck ton. Like I'm talking 16,000 a month is I think what we had last month across everything. It's like a referee when he fucks up a call. It's like, you're only going to know when you fuck something up. Like it's not like Dave's seeing every super viral tweet. Like Chris Jones was retweeting us, the Chiefs player last night, like, cause we had a tweet that went out and he's like, yeah, I got fucked during that game. Like that's great for Barstool, but like, you don't get the flowers for that. And I understand that, like you fuck something up, it makes the brand look bad. Everyone's going to point the negative. We've been through it a lot. We just got to try to be better at it and try to find people you can trust to do it. And Jack's one of them. Like Jack is there.
And that's the thing. I really don't have outside sharing it. I've sit in rooms with Jack Mack for 10 hours at a time, and I hear, there he is, and I hear what Jack Mack is saying. So he knows college football. I don't get that. All right. Welcome, Kirk.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
So I got to ask, we were talking about earlier, and then I'm like, you know what? Eddie doesn't always have the foresight, the thought to be like, maybe we should get Kirk on because we're talking about Rico, Kirk, Clemmer. All right. I want truth serum.
Okay.
Rico, because he's now your pit bull.
Rico Bosco. Yeah, he's my, Uh-huh.
Unprovoked attacks at Clemmer, calling him an alcoholic.
I think that's not inaccurate, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I didn't say inaccurate. I said unprovoked.
Well, okay, sure.
Now, when Rico turns around and calls himself the victim, because he according to Rico, he's never thrown.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm interrupted your program. First of all, I'll tell you, Eddie didn't book me because he didn't like me, which is fine. I don't care much for him either. Secondly, I would say that, like, you know, I don't.
I love your background, by the way. It's like very Death Star. It's just pure black.
What do you want me to put?
You should actually put the Death Star behind you. That would be
that gets over the top. I'm not going to do that.
I kind of like.
I do like the idea that when you look behind, it's just absolute like depression and death. It's just like there's no room for anything else. But so I don't know the context in which you're saying that Rico is. So you're saying that Rico is playing the victim?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're stepping. So you're assuming what's going to happen.
I'm going into my crystal ball because Clemmer has now returned fire, basically.
Which I said on my show today. I don't like Clemmer, but I said on my show today. Now, if you look at as his boss, I'm sure you do a lot of analytics.
Yeah.
Because I consider the shot at Rico was, if you read the blog, was all about my show. If you look at stuff that Clemmer does when it's related to the Kirk Minihane show, he gets response on social media. If it's not anywhere related to the Kirk Minihane show, it is like a like newborn cricket, just like, you know, masturbating in the middle of nowhere.
Agreed.
So I would say that's something you might want to look at because once again, Kirk Minihane, like, you know, Dave, you know better than anybody, like having people leech off you is an annoyance. So I'm annoyed by that.
You know what is interesting?
Mm-hmm.
You are describing Rico Bosco.
I don't.
Prior, now he's doing that. That is essentially.
I don't. Eddie, can we? I know
speech that you
the
just
new Barstool,
gave.
the new Barstool delete stuff. I hope. Hopefully, you'll be continuing that.
The exact speech you just gave was what my and Dan's issue with Rico was. That when he
just gang up on Rico week after week after week
from Dan and I, he couldn't make a wave. Now he does with you.
You sound like you're upset because Rico has chosen as his skip right now, his lead skip. Some may say it's an interesting business decision when his contract is up to go away from Dave Portnoy at Barstool and go to Kirk Minihane. But I would say that shows you how crazy he is. I have to respect that.
How are the $100,000 per week for one appearance negotiation?
Oh, it's $100,000 per week. That would I think per year is
per year. How for one appearance?
I would
per week.
say that we are apart in negotiations. I would say so far, somewhere in I'd say if you look at the numbers apart, say we're somewhere in the $94,000 range.
So because Dan actually told me this. He goes, "Did you hear
what a rat Dan is?" He went on my show. This was on my show in New York when I was there the other day. He fucking went. This is the kind of thing I would do. This is what I do to people. I respect it and don't respect it.
He said, "Did you hear that Rico is shopping himself for $100,000 to go to the Kirk Minihane show?" So this was an off the record, serious conversation.
No. Quite the opposite, Dave. This was an on the record, on the Kirk Minihane show conversation. Rico said to me, and I think he was. I think it was somewhat in jest.
Well, no, because I heard you say it. You said he said it out loud, or he wrote it on a calculator.
He wrote 100 on the calculator. As I said on my show when we came back here the other day, I saw that and thought, would I pay Rico $100 a week to come on the show? I wasn't sure. But $100,000 a year is bold. But look, go big or go home.
And he said that on the air. He said 100,000.
I think he was kidding around a little bit. He's got a sense of humor.
You know Rico. No, he doesn't.
And you first of all, before we do any of this, can we give Rico credit for a great takedown of Gaz?
Great.
Beautifully done. And fair. Right? I mean, great. Very well.
But before you came on, I said unknowingly what Rico has done is he's made life harder on himself because, as I've said from the beginning, he can write and he's entertaining.
The burden of greatness. Yeah.
He just chooses not to. And that's I don't tell people who can't write and be entertaining to write. I don't want that. Right. I know he can. I've seen it. So it's what are you doing if you're not doing that when I know you can do it?
Why don't the skips get together right now? You and I, right? Friends, allies. I've had your back. You've had mine. Why don't we get Rico's deal done right now? Let's just do it. Let's just do it right now. What time is it? It's 12 o'clock. Let's get it done by 12:10. As I said the other day, you and the sum of our contract negotiations, you and I, my two deals, has probably been 6 minutes in total.
Yes,
right?
Not long.
So we said number, we respect each other. Here it is. Maybe this, maybe that. Done. Why don't we why? Because Rico I could see how I might get emotional with Rico. Let's just do it right now.
You obviously, maybe not because I don't know. You've seen the previous negotiation, the timeout clip, correct?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So let's remove.
You have seen that, right?
I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
So, all right, I'm going to tell you a fundamental difference between a negotiation with you and Rico is outside of you putting yourself into a insane asylum. I know you're motivated. I don't have to worry about your work ethic.
I appreciate that.
I do. So I don't like having to put in quotas, but I guess if we're going to do it.
Put them in.
All right, so 15 blogs a week.
15 blogs a week.
Yeah, that's like 2 a day. Okay. That's not that bad. 2 and
okay, that's fine. Okay, we can start there. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So that's really it. That's how easy this fucking.
But can we just give him? May I counter with something?
Yes.
Can we just let him do his college basketball podcast? Just let him do it. Just let him do it. There's so many shitty podcasts at the company. Why not another one? And I think it's a good one, by the way. I listen to it every week.
There is no chance you think that's good. It's one of the worst things we produce.
Terrific. I've listened. Eddie asked me a trivia question. I'll get it right now.
That is what, like,
I don't know what that is, but other than that,
I could picture you being in a hospital in one of those straitjackets, and they're just playing that on a loop. It's like, if you can deal with that, you can deal with anything.
Oh, let me ask you this though. If the Rico you saw with Gaz, the Rico you saw with Walmart, and all these other, if he's giving you those kind of blogs, 15 of those babies a week, can't you also give him the college basketball podcast? Just give me that right now. Just say yes.
If he meets all the other requirements that end up in this contract, he can do the college, but we're not going to put money behind it.
Well, okay. Well, but if it's successful, you will.
Of course.
Okay, so like everybody else, right? The Kirk Minihane show, the Dave Portnoy show, Spit and Chicklets, everybody starts in the same place.
Correct.
So we're going to give him a college basketball podcast. We'll say 12 blogs a week.
No,
12.
If it's 12, he's going to be top 20 every week.
He's going to be top 20.
Like we have those charts that come out that say
Yeah. So that shouldn't be hard to be in the top 20, right? If he's doing 12 a week, if they're good.
Very doable.
What's that, Eddie?
It's very doable.
Very doable. Okay. Eddie, what do you think of that? 12 blogs a week. Reasonable?
Yeah, I think so.
Don't say. I don't want him to, I don't want to,
12 blogs a week, but that means top well, why don't we just say top 20 then?
Okay, top 20.
He's got to be in the top 20, and what's top the penalty 20, if he doesn't make it?
Top 20 X amount of weeks of the year, because there may just be fluky weeks or something.
No, that's not true, because you literally like.
No, okay.
If you look at the top 20 list, it's pure effort. They're not like always the most talented. It's like he's in it. He's in it this week for the first time because
so top 20. So it's top 20 like total clicks per week, no matter if we do 6 or 60, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But for example, like after I was telling him to do it, he like the top 20 bloggers almost correlate directly with how many blogs they write.
Sure, it makes sense. Volume, right? You're all promoted the same essentially. All right, so top 12. All right, 12, top 20. College basketball podcast continues to do all the gambling stuff.
Yep.
I'm trying to think what else he would want. Again, this is just baseline negotiations for my client. And I think he'd be, I don't know the finances of the situation. I don't know what he's asking. I imagine it's probably not unreasonable. I think he's aware of his value. No? Financially?
I think he's on the high end, but for what he's done, let me put it this way. This would be a renewal. This wouldn't be a raise situation.
No raise at all.
He has not earned a raise.
Okay. I don't know. So I don't know. Will he have an issue with that part of it? I imagine most people would. I know. Would he take the renewal right? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think he'll have an issue with that part.
I would think he probably would, Eddie, right? Well, where is he?
I guarantee you he's nowhere.
Blogging. He's probably working on a fucking blog.
Doing Hot Ice, the gambling show.
Do you want to bring him in?
I would like to. I would
bring him in. Tell him to bring him in. Tell him his future is being negotiated.
Yeah, but will he be calm? Because I know, he and I talk. We talk. You've tried to break Rico and I up so far. It's not happened.
I think it's inevitable there'll be a breakup, but I'm not trying to.
Are you surprised that it stayed this strong?
I am a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I think we're bonded in madness. There's a spot for that.
Oh, are we getting
the last negotiation Kirk led for a client didn't go so well, by the way.
How much money is he making right now, Gaz?
He's not with us though.
Well, I'm getting my 10% either way. Fuck, I care.
Yeah, but we want to
do you still talk to the name that's not going to be named?
Yeah, I reached out to you recently and said, would he be, because he used to come on the show.
Yeah, right. I like him. Listen, he's my son.
We all like him.
Listen,
but I'm saying
he moved to New York and I signed his paperwork. He didn't have a father figure. I had to sign all his paperwork for him.
I totally respect that. But I'm saying is if he came on the show and didn't even promote that once, would you have an issue with it? You said yes. And I said, what I said, fine, I understand. Yeah. I have no problem with that.
He'll be back. I do think he'll be back eventually.
I think he misses the juice. He drives me crazy when I says, I think he misses the juice of I mentioned he threw out a first pitch the other day.
Yeah.
If it was a Barstool, it would have been a big deal there. It was a fart in the wind. He's not going to like hearing that, but I think there is part of that.
He has his core Red Sox fans that will always be there, but
for sure. Absolutely. I would love for him to be back, but you're right, Gaz. Last time, but you know what, Gaz, he didn't let me do it. He didn't let me do it.
Hey, let's take a brief pause in these contract negotiations and let's talk about Roman. Testosterone is an important part of a man's body and health, but men's testosterone starts to deplete with age, which is why it's important you support it early. Signs of low T can include a decline in energy and stamina, weight gain, hair loss, and low sex drive. Roman's testosterone support supplements were designed by real doctors to help men maintain their body's natural testosterone production. The daily supplement includes 6 nutrients to help support testosterone levels, bone health, and muscle development. Who wouldn't want to have proper levels of testosterone in their body? Okay. And we have a special offer just for our listeners. Use this link to get 20% off your first order. Just go to getroman.com/Dave today. That's getroman.com/Dave for 20% off. And now Roman T support is available nationwide at retail. You can find Roman T support in the supplements aisle at your local Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. It's a no-brainer, folks. GetRoman.com/Dave, 20% off T support. All right, let's get back into this Kirk Rico negotiation.
Rico,
what's up?
Have you been briefed on what's happening?
No.
Kirk,
I don't like the body language so far, just to be clear, but okay.
Kirk and I are trying to hammer out your contract.
What do you mean?
Like we're negotiating your contract for next year.
No finances have been discussed, Rico. I don't know your salary. We're just trying to figure out where you'd be comfortable, because I want to keep you with the company.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of hubbub, like, oh, you're trying to jump. It's been very clear that the renegotiation has not been. You guys aren't throwing it in front of me. So as I said, if I do, I'm lining up options: Aeropostale, Uber, possibly Kirk show. That's all I did. Everybody's like, oh, you're fucking jumping shit. I'm lining up options. If this is now,
First of all, the show is also for Barstool. My show, I know Barstool never talks about it, but I do work for Barstool, right. So they would be part of Barstool. What I'm saying is, Rico, we're trying to figure out, would you be comfortable? Dave and I are trying to figure out the blogging. You killed it. Great blog on Gaz. Great blogs all the time.
Another one today.
Would you be willing to do 12 blogs?
Another one on Gaz?
No, I'm saying
no. Well, Vin Diesel was voted the sexiest bald man of 2022.
I saw that. I did see that. I saw that as well. Terrific.
So
would you be willing to do 12 blogs a week in your new contract?
Yeah. Am I still what am I still doing?
Okay, well, we're starting.
There is a caveat. It's 12 or top 20.
Right. So you could do 4 a week and be in the top 20.
Yeah.
Right, Dave?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It's good that for all the months of, as I've explained, of me teetering the tightrope of insanity and content, we're again putting this back into a show, which I've asked.
I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you out.
Skip. You're good, Skip. You're good. I know whose back you got, but it's.
Yeah, I understand.
Putting the guy up there and then turning on the TV of like, hey, he might fall down and whack his head on 6 buildings. Turn into a pancake.
Just I know you always have your tunnel visions. If we rewound this, you're gonna find out that your new Skip was the one who presented this concept, not the old Skip.
Well, I'm trying to get this done.
It makes sense that Kirk presented it because you're waiting for that paper to just expire. Why I'm lining up flannel sales, new tires on the car, and potentially going to Boston to work once a week, which I can guarantee will be better than the last guy he had up there at once a week. I would agree with that, right, Skip?
There's no question about that. I would say so far, Dave asked me about Clemmer. I said, don't hire him. It's been one of Dave's worst moves of all time. Top 3 terrible Portnoy moves of all time. But let's move past that.
Not accurate representation of what happened.
Well, fine. But I'm trying to get this deal done here. As I expected, now the emotion is playing into is why it's better if it's just two skips.
You're not going to get it done. They're going to keep making me dance.
What are you talking about, Rico? We said 12 blogs.
What do you mean by making you dance? By blogging?
Just mentally. Like, it's just, hey, little rabbit. Hey, little rabbit. Here's the carrot. Here's that contract.
Rico. We can get this thing done in the next 5 minutes.
But Rico, to counter what you said, for the past month, I've been asking you to blog on Pick'em. You just haven't. You started blogging this week and have delivered results for the first time. That's not me dangling.
I need the topics. I'm not gonna do it. Guess that ass. I want Pulitzers.
Well, that's why you get in the top 20, Rico. You can do 4 a week if they're really good, like the one yesterday. You're going to be in the top 20 just based on the one from yesterday.
What changed this week to last week that allowed you to find topics?
how my brain works.
So it just shuts off some weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's a problem, Kirk.
It's not helpful. I'll say that. But I respect the artist. I respect the artist. I will say I respect the artist.
What am I supposed to do with a guy who says some weeks his brain goes on vacation?
We go. 12 blogs a week or top 20, either one. You keep the college basketball podcast. All the other stuff stays the same. According to Dave, he's willing to give you a decent, like a small bump in salary.
No, I said you haven't earned a renewal. I mean,
earned
a raise. Excuse
okay, was that an issue, Rico?
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks for going to bat for me, but yeah.
That's not, I'm trying to get it done right now. I just want to get it done so you have to worry about it anymore.
You can't make a rash decision.
It's not rash.
It's rash for me.
I'm saying to you, perfectly reasonable. If you say, hey, that's not enough, I want a raise. Then
do you think you've earned a raise?
You don't think I've earned the right to fucking breathe. So what are we doing here?
What are you talking about, the right to breathe? That's not what's been said here. I said before you came on, one of your big issues you have is I know you can write and be entertaining, and you've proved it this week. So when you don't do it, it's what you said. Your brain has decided to take a week vacation.
Not vacation.
It just shut off?
It doesn't shut off. It's just fine. You do spend some time thinking, how can I get the best stuff out there?
And then just nothing gets out there?
I'm not going to win this argument.
Well, Dave, in the last couple of months, you've hired so many people that don't have talent. You have somebody who has talent now, and I understand. Like,
yeah, it is optimistic. Like if I do, when I don't get renewed on 1-1, I'll just figure it out for a couple of months, and then we could have another competition. And if I finish in the top 8, I'm back in. So that's what I'm banking on.
But Rico, you make a decent amount of money.
Okay, and it's all going to end soon. So what
are
we doing?
No, it's not, Rico. No, we just said, Dave just said he's willing to at least base, if you do the blogs, keep the college basketball contract. We have a beginning point where he will at least keep the current salary. That's a start in negotiation.
It's a start.
It's a start.
But do you think you've earned a raise?
Just say yes if you think you have. Just say yes.
Yeah, he's going to dunk on you, but yeah. I mean, you also got to, Joey B's America, inflation through the roof. So I got to get at least the standard. I don't do politics, but I read the newspapers, and the fucking juice is now like $8. Like, I want to get juice in the morning. It's $8. So
how about the juice factor, Dave? The juice factor.
How much was juice last year?
Donnie had it down to like $2.50, I think.
$2.50.
And now it's $8?
Yeah. I know you don't do your own shopping. I definitely know your partner don't do his. Actually, you know what? I retract that. You do get the groceries. Your leeches don't get the groceries. I read the news.
What are you referring to?
You have to go pick up your own groceries. Read the tweet. You clearly didn't read the blog.
In the blog?
Oh, that's a shot at Bald Paul.
Yes, which I think is fair.
Not me.
Okay, so Dave, are you willing now? Okay, that's the counter. Are you willing to do some sort of cost of living part of this deal?
I will evaluate the cost of living.
Okay. So you're open to that?
Yeah, I'm open to looking at basic inflation.
I mean, it's a guy with, he's got a life. He's got responsibilities. We're in October.
You think I don't know that he has response? That's all I hear about. He's the only guy in the history of the universe.
Let's get it done right now. You have to worry about it.
How many fucking times did I say don't say that? You better fucking cut it. You better fucking cut it.
Kirk?
Yes, hello. Yeah.
Any comment on what just happened?
I mean, I've seen that before. Now, I'll admit it's been in, as you said, in places where I've been locked in for weeks at a time.
That's why Kirk danced around that, saying other obligations.
I specifically, you noticed that, Eddie, for the record, you do note that, correct?
I did notice that, Kirk.
What was that? What was that?
I think he specifically
called like it's not a fucking joke. You want to see the phone? It's no caller ID, non-fucking stop.
Okay, Rico. Okay, we'll get caught, right, Dave?
I understand. I was a Publix. Everyone's like, why don't you want your name out there? I've budged on that. Why don't you want? I've budged for you. I've budged. I know once you know my name, you know my phone number. Then you're going to know my fucking address. That's the price of being a civil servant.
And then they say that you're not paying taxes.
Okay, I'm just saying. Here, look, you don't believe me.
We all deal. We all deal. Rico, we all deal with this. I agree with you. I agree. It'll get.
I'm just begging you. Fat fucking TiVo did it the first time. I begged then. He fucked it up. I'm just begging. Just you say anything you want. Just don't say
Kirk?
So cost of living, Dave, back to that real quick. So now the negotiations are going smoothly, I think. We'll factor in cost of living. And then I think, I see no reason not to do business with this guy going forward. He's protective. I respect that. Listen, I'm in the same situation. I respect that.
No red flags.
I've always been even keeled.
You can't, we can't get to the point now where you're not going to hire, you're not going to hire people because they're nuts. I mean, you'd be fucked at that point.
Of course not. Of course
So that's what
not.
I'm saying. So let's do it. By the way, there's no way you're not going to keep this guy. Let's cut the bullshit here. You love the guy. You want to keep him. We're going to get it done.
Listen, we started this by saying he makes a very good salary.
Sure, great.
Because I went to bat for him.
Yep, okay.
But this past year, as I've been riding him to do more, he's rejected that till really this week.
Okay, now he is.
If he was this week of the last 2 weeks, the entire year, none of this would be happening. But I had to give him so much love and care to get it. Like, if I don't care about you, it's the old adage. If the coach stops talking to you, that's when you know you have a problem.
For sure. Yep, I agree. Okay.
So this whole exchange that we've had, it's like, all right, we're trying to do something, but we do need the quota on blogs, top 20. He's rejected.
I think we've already. No. We've already agreed to that. That's what
what are you so mad about that? I said no raise. You don't deserve a raise.
No, I was mad about something else. But yeah, all right, whatever. You're the boss. All right, we got it.
Well, no. Are you okay with the blog thing? You said you're okay with the blog thing, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, Dave, we agree on the blog. The blogs are agreed upon. Done.
So then we should be getting pretty close.
I think we're close. You keep with the blogs. He gets to keep the college basketball podcast. Correct? You said
correct.
You said yes. Well, hold on. You said yes.
Yes, as there won't be resources sent to it until we believe it can yield a profit.
That's fine. Okay.
And by the way, that's across anybody. Anybody who I never have a problem with extra, as long as you're doing what I feel like is enough to warrant the salary. Knock yourself. I love the extra. I love the extra.
I agree. Although I'm not a big fan of people who ask for 90 producers, but okay, fine. He's not doing that. So, okay, done. So we've agreed on that. I think the only thing right now is renewal versus a small bump for cost of living, which I think you're willing to do, right? Let's just say yes to that right now.
What is inflation? I know what it is, the definition, but what actually is it?
What is the current inflation level in this country?
Highest
when we signed before to get what?
I think it's the highest it's ever been.
But okay, Rico, you might be biased on this one. Let's go to an impartial source here.
8.26%.
There you go. Done. Rico, are you comfortable with that?
It does say down from 8.52 though.
Okay, but Rico, are you comfortable with that?
Though. COVID was bad.
You're comfortable with 8?
Oh wait, hold on. Potentially.
No, just
how do you deal?
Yes.
No, off
say
the
yes.
Table. Off the table.
No,
it's off the table. I can't deal. Kirk, I cannot deal in this.
I didn't ask for this conversation.
I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that.
What's a negotiation?
No.
What are you?
No. He should have taken that and he should have run with it because I didn't even want to give it.
Rico, just
it's done. No, no. I
didn't ask for this conversation. This is you're again making a show of it. All right, we got it.
I'm trying to get you a deal.
2 more months. He doesn't want it. It is what it is. He doesn't want to do it.
It was right there for you. You had it. Probably bigger than it actually is.
Everyone else gets to do it quietly. The monkey's got to dance. Like now you got 2 monkey boys. You happy?
I would have done it. I would do it publicly. I don't.
Skip.
Yes, Skip.
So,
I mean, I would say in football parlance, not to go to the ultimate cliche, but we were at given that it's Rico, I won't say we're at the goal line, but we were at like the 3 or 4 yard line. Like we were close.
We were close.
I could smell it. We were in the red zones. Your guy Scott Hansen we were piping in there, and fucking I don't know, but I will say can I assign Some blame to you on that.
How?
You overreact a little bit to potentially. Potentially was a start. You should have. And then it's over.
He's just so ungrateful. He has the best gig going.
I understand where you're coming from. Eddie, what do you think?
I mean, I think that was very predictable.
It's like, how can you not? That's a pretty big. I don't even know if that's the real rate that we put on there for. Like,
I have no idea.
And then Kareem's like, well, it said something else underneath it.
Essentially, you're offering him what was essentially almost a 10%.
Correct. We're from zero. When I'm like, he hasn't earned a cent, and he's like, potentially. Oh no.
Right. Yes. And by the way, I'm just saying, like, let's say this college basketball thing breaks out. It's a huge success. Well, he gets to participate in that as well. I would
correct.
Expect,
and
right?
then it's putting
I get that.
Box,
I get where you're coming from.
It's put me in a box with literally every single employee up for renewal. You start where Rico just started.
Right. I get that. I understand that. But, I could smell it. I thought we were going to.
Potentially looks at his calculator. Potentially.
That calculator's got a lot of work lately. I will say that. I don't know. I feel like now it's like when there's like a labor strike and they're close and it gets angry and then they're further back than when they started. I feel like now we've actually lost progress when you and I started this 20 minutes ago. I tried. I love Rico. I tried. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Is the offer off the table? Can you keep the offer?
No, the offer is currently off the table. I'll also say, hand to God, he gets mad. Like that explosion, that wasn't intentional on my part. He went just nuts.
But I mean, come on, you're surprised at that?
No, but it's like that's why he'll say that was an intentional provoke or something by me, and it was not.
I don't believe that. In your defense, I actually don't think that was either. I don't believe that. I will say, all right, so it's currently not.
We're back. We're back at square one.
Okay. I mean, I'll continue to work on my end. I want to get it done. You and Dan will continue to fuck with him and make things more difficult, which I get.
That wasn't. You see what that?
Oh, but you get off on it. I mean, stop. This is what I do for a living too. Cut the bullshit. You enjoy winding him up, and then he reacts like that, and that's part of your job. I respect that, but he's also a human being who has factors, and he wants to get a deal done. And you're not. He was
just offered a deal. He just offered a very good deal. Potentially.
Would you accept the deal? Would you accept how much left is on your contract, Eddie?
I have one more year left.
Okay, if you were offered right now 8% raise, everything stays the same. Would you take it right now?
Well, I think maybe the potentially was you got to check some stuff too. You can't just take that right away. Anybody who signs a contract on the first pitch, like that's not smart.
But that's what I'm saying. I think potentially was I gotta say.
But I have been crystal clear that I am not thrilled with his work ethic this entire year.
Yeah, the guy's been blogging for like 3 days. What do you want him to
do? I know.
He took the first 7-8 months off of the year. Now he's fresh for the fall. That's the most important season of the company. I bet you he was invited to the friggin' whatchamacallit. What the fuck's it called, Colin? Upfronts. Yeah, well, it must have been nice. Jeez, what I ever do about the upfronts? I'll get invited. What? One time I give it a passcode. One time I give it a passcode, and then you're not invited anymore.
One little mistake. All right, thanks, Kirk. Well, we're back. Get him back on. I like Rico.
I know you do. I like Rico. He's a big part of our trip. He's a friend of mine now. I want to keep him with the company. I know you do. I think everybody generally likes Rico. Let me ask you a question before I go, because my listeners will care about this. What grade would you give Clemmer so far?
He's almost like E,
Zero?
like a non-person. Like he hasn't done a lot, like you said, and that's partially my fault. I'm not there. He was brought in to be me, but he hasn't made any waves. So I don't know, like a D+.
Okay, so you're disappointed so far.
No, I'm not disappointed.
So you wanted? Oh, when you hired him, you're hoping he'd be a D+.
No, I think it's early. Okay. It's almost like too early to grade.
Okay, right. You just don't want to give me the satisfaction of saying.
No, I'm serious. Like I'm not. It's too early.
Okay. Is he going to Miami with you?
I got to talk to him about it. He may.
What's he going to do? Just hang out with you there? You don't want that in your life, do you?
That's the major problem with it. It's like I don't want to have to be responsible for like doing shit every day.
Right. Okay.
I think I could make good content with Clemmer.
I was there for a day last week. Very brief. I only go into that when I was there for the trivia. And like that place was fucking dead. No one's around.
Depends. When I'm there, it is kind of buzzing.
Well, I think that's why.
Maybe people heard you coming and they cleared out. Who knows?
That's probably true. Anyway, so I'm going to keep working on this. I'll get Rico on the horn. I think we'll have a quiet, substantive conversation.
We haven't had something like that, by the way.
What's that?
That type of blow up from him since the high noon camp.
Well, he didn't throw anything in this conversation. He yelled, but that's okay.
He came at the camera aggressively. He was.
No, he's not. I mean, he's not Godzilla. What's he going to do? Eat the camera?
He actually kind of looked like Godzilla.
He actually did. I was kind of concerned for a second, but I would say that's progress. He didn't.
Have you been part of one of those with him yet?
No.
So
no.
But was that eye opening at all for you?
Well, for me, I've done stuff like that. You get frustrated. I get that. And also, I think he really likes. Like he wants to keep, you can tell he clearly wants to keep working here. But I think is also part of him. He's not going to like this. I think he kind of likes the drama involved in the contract negotiation too, in a way, right? Like he kind of wants to keep it going a little bit. So we have to figure that all out. But now it's, we're coming to the finish line here. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's going to get done. I predict it'll get done.
I hope so.
Yeah.
You're going to have to talk some sense into your guy.
I'll do my best, Skip.
All right. Thanks,
That's it. Goodbye.
Thanks, Kirk.
How's something?
What do you say? What do you say?
I mean, you've always been a Bosco. I mean, I didn't like.
Yeah, I mean, I listen. I said a lot of my piece obviously before all that happened, but yeah, I mean, you can't fault the guy for not. I mean, he could have agreed to the terms, just not the financial terms. Like he could agree to the work.
He
terms.
Doesn't deserve one penny more. He just doesn't. But I like Rico. You do the inflation like he did this last time. That's what caused the whole thing last time. He gets so fucking greedy. I don't negotiate like this with everybody. It's not because I'm like Brandon Walker, Kirk, here's the number. Yes. It's like if you've earned it clearly, I'm not like some crazy. I'm telling the truth. Mm-hmm. I am telling the truth.
Yeah. Well, Dave, let's talk about Felix Gray and then we'll move on with the show.
I'm wearing them. Felix Gray. These are the Robles, I believe.
Yep, the Roblings.
Yeah, Roblings. Where's the ad? Here we go. I got it. And I always wear them. They help my eyes. If I don't wear them, I can't sleep. Felix Gray makes prescription, non-prescription glasses. That was unbelievable. Specifically designed with lenses that filter blue light, reduce glare. Felix Gray lenses filter 15 times more blue light that can make screen time tough on eyes and disruptive sleep. How many hours a day do you spend staring at the screen, phone, computer, TV? Too much blue light can irritate the eyes, disrupt sleep patterns, may cause eye damage. These are, like I said, the Roblings. I also wear the Nash. I literally, if I'm not wearing them, my eyes twitch when I sleep. Don't have to sacrifice style function when it comes to Felix Gray blue light filter glasses. Simply consult with their fit guide and virtually try on to find a pair you love. Fits the best. Whether you have a round, oval, square, or heart-shaped face, they have something for everybody. Non-prescription, prescription available. Check them out now at felixgrayglasses.com/Dave. That's felixgrayglasses.com, Dave. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. felixgrayglasses.com/Dave. I got to be honest, too. What I'm giggling about was Kirk's reaction, because I know he was taken aback, like he hadn't seen that yet, and he was just kind of like, "What's going on?" Like, I could see it in his face, like, "Huh, this is an interesting development." And per usual, like Rico thinks, I guess it's like, I'm Belichick to him. At the height of Belichick, when if anything happened to opposing teams, they think they're getting spied on, plays stolen, bugged. Like that was not my idea. That was Kirk's idea. Good idea. It was great. But it's like he thinks it's with the same thing with Dan. He thinks everything is me, like out to get him. It's not. Like that was not predicted, that behavior. Kirk's face seems just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, you have used the trigger word before. So you'd think you'd learn from that standpoint.
I'm sure I've said that before without him. I honestly have no idea what that triggers.
Yeah, I don't. We'll talk.
I have no idea.
We'll talk. Also, I was trying to. I didn't intend for this to be a Rico show like this, so we're trying to keep a lot of that on Pick'em. So, I mean,
no,
we would have had a mom.
Yeah, no, that was. Well, that'll bode well for Pick'em, anyways. That was
okay. Good. I don't want to cannibalize that. So that's
no. Kirk, that was.
I was good. No, I'm glad you called for it. I mean, speaking of contract negotiations, I'm sure you're following this Menery Nelk beef.
Yeah. Crazy. Craziest. So Dan originally told me about it. Then I watched Menery's story. And then I watched Kyle from Nelk, his story. And wouldn't you know who ended up in the middle of it? Fucking Grinelli. I spit out my coffee. I wasn't even drinking. It's like, oh, well, Grinelli said it was a great deal, so it must be a big deal. Like, who the fuck's Grinelli? And I wrote a blog about it. And actually, Menery reached out. He's like, thanks for having my back. I'm like, that was not me having your back. That was me making fun of Grinelli. I talked a little bit, actually, to the Nelk Shahidi guys back. You know, it's a he said, she said. So it's a he said, she said. Although I will say, Kyle seemingly produced the contract like that backed up his version of events. But, you know, Menery says that's not how it was. I will say, if Menery was getting 30% of the ad revenue, that is one of the great deals of all time. And I don't know what the fuck he could possibly be complaining about.
Mm-hmm. Did like dollars like that all added up to you too with how big that podcast is? What they said, like 1.2. I mean, I know it's all based on percentages, but
so why'd somebody do the math for me?
I think they've done it for 10 months.
But so 30, if 30% was 1.2, how much would your gross be? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're getting 30%, I would think you at minimum would have $1 million. Yeah, it's a huge fucking podcast, and Nelk is huge.
Mm-hmm. What'd you talk to the Shahidis about?
Well, when I first met the Shahidis, like I wasn't the biggest Menery fan. You know, I had my beef with them, and they're like, yep, beef. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like crazy.
Are you buddies with the Shahidis?
No, I wouldn't say buddies. No, I've probably met John 2 or 3 times.
Like an acquaintance.
I shouldn't say. When I say not buddies, I'm not saying it like no, we don't like. It's just I don't know him that well. Like we tried to get Nelk to be ambassadors for Barstool Sportsbook. So I met with John. That was right when he came in. Like I was talking to Nelk before John worked with Nelk, and then he came in the process and tried to do it. We always got along.
Yeah. What happened with that? Is there any potential that could?
No, they do steak.
Okay, so they have their own thing going.
They advertise for them.
Yeah, but don't you think? I mean, listen, Whitney and Biz and RA, they clearly are very happy with Grinelli. Don't you owe him some type of respect?
No, not in that regard. Grinelli has no fucking clue what's going on with how much producers, whatnot, or well, he's not really a producer. He's a talent.
I think he's like half and half.
Grinelli has no clue, right? None. Like he's a producer, but I don't know why he thinks he knows like market value on producers and whatnot. And Spit and Chicklets is a very unique animal in itself. It's not like a traditional and just as the Nelk thing. And every podcast is unique onto itself, right? Like our thing we just launched with Pat Beverly and Roan is unique in how it's structured. And when people come in is unique how it's structured. Call Her Daddy was unique how it's structured. Everything's different. So Grinelli was right. I just don't know who, as I put in my blog, I don't know who died and made Grinelli God. And I like busting Grinelli's balls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't not like Grinelli. I like busting Grinelli's balls. And clearly, Biz, Witt, Rear love Grinelli, and that speaks a lot.
Yeah.
Give him a Rolex.
They did give him a Rolex. What happened? Do you have more context on the Taylor Lorenz Silvana situation?
That was crazy. So Silvana was watching the Jeffrey Dahmer shit, which I don't like. It's like creeps me out. He's a fucking serial killer. Like,
yeah. And
whatever. Silvana's numbies, you know how it goes. She knows trends, numbies, all that. She has these glasses that she thought looked like Dahmers and did a picture about like the glasses. I don't know what she said. And she got a lot of heat for it. In general, it's like you're glorifying Jeffrey Dahmer. Sylvana just wanted numbers. She's not thinking that deeply on that issue. But somehow Taylor Lorenz got it and was trying to make this big thing like how influencers are glorifying her. Now, it's very Taylor Lorenz because Sylvana is not like fucking the DeMello sister. She's got an okay following, but she's not some fucking gigantic influencer yet. So why you would pick her? And Sylvana called me. She's like, I was driving. She's like, hey, weird question. Do you have beef with Taylor Lorenz? I'm like, yeah, I do. I don't like her. Why? I was like, what the fuck did that question? How the hell do you know who Taylor Lorenz is? She's like, oh, she got a strike on Instagram for posting my picture. I'm like, what? I didn't even really process it. I'm like, how did you know that? And then I saw it on Taylor Lorenz where Taylor Lorenz actually had a picture of Sylvana, which is just worlds colliding.
Yeah, what did Sylvana think? She's getting some heat. People coming after her a little bit.
Yeah, she didn't really care. She deleted it, actually. I mean, so I guess she does care. She didn't like the heat, but again, Sylvana's just trying to get numbers. I don't think she thought that deeply about it.
No, for sure, and that's what. But like you said, these people will come for anyone. Like Sylvana's just I don't know.
Crazy to make, but it's more indicative. Like it wasn't that big of a post. It didn't have that much interaction. Like you're trying to take one little example and make it some global thing. Like I didn't see anybody else doing it except Sylvana.
Yeah. We'll do some inside Barstool. We'll get out of here. What'd you think of the KFC and Clem leaving the stream?
I had no problem with it.
No problem with it.
Hey, listen, I actually tweeted like, man, as much as KFC is like a rival or whatever, like Frank's a fucking lot to listen. And it's your favorite team. I had no problem with it. Yeah,
because people, they want to insinuate, oh, Dave and Dan have done something. Like I mean, I think
that's a unique situation onto itself. Like if I was watching something that I cared as deeply about and had like a fan, but an angry fan like that, and Meek Phil is probably more annoying than Frank. So I do not begrudge them.
Yeah, I agree. Can't blame them for leaving. Is there anything, how did you think of the Met streams in general? I mean, you sat through them Friday night.
They were what I expected. I mean, they were interesting. Frank was right. They're natural. You never know. They're not concocted. Frank's a unique beast. And, we, for whatever reason, have 9,000 Mets fans. So it was what I thought they'd be pretty much. The games weren't overly close, Yeah, there's like Mets got smoked. And then the one game they won pretty easily.
Yeah, especially for
there was no like key moments.
Yeah. And it was the only one that went 3. And it was one of the more boring ones. But yeah, that's kind of that. The Mets are dead.
Frank was right.
Yeah. Owen announced yesterday that he is leaving Barstool.
Got a good gig from Tim Dillon.
Yeah.
Good for him. I did wonder like how that came about. Like I'm happy for Owen and good for Owen, but I also hasn't Tim Dillon been in like The Office and shit?
Yeah, I think he's friends with Sass, and Sass introduced him to Owen. And Tim Dillon's producer left like a couple weeks ago, and there was like a big beef online with him and Tim. And then I guess he probably just reached out and said, hey, we have this vacancy. So it wasn't like he got rid of his old producer to bring him in. Like a blow up happened on Tim Dillon's show, and then was offered to Owen.
Yeah, and it speaks to Barstool getting like pillaged talent, whatever. Again, good for him. I'm trying to think.
What's getting you here?
I'm trying to think if I was a guest somewhere and invited into an office somewhere, or you're saying Little Sass introduced him, like whether then I tried to like steal an employee. I don't think that's the great, like, let me put it this way. Greg Olson, granted, have a relationship. Mikey Podcast went to work for Greg Olson, right? That company.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Olson, when this kid was hired, did not know he worked here. When he found out he was hired, Greg Olson called me and he's like, hey, I just found out we offered a job to somebody who worked for you. I wouldn't have done that. We have a relationship. I don't think we should be stealing employees or like doing that. is, do you have a problem with it? I'm like, no, I appreciate it. Like, he's a good deal. And by the way, that's how it would have been with Tim Dillon. It's like an upgrade. It's a good thing. I feel like Tim Dillon's been on my podcast. I know he's been on like KFC. If I was there, would have probably been like, hey, do you have an issue with this? I think it's kind of the right thing to do.
So you think it's a little bad form that Tim did?
Yeah, no, I think it's a lot of bad form.
A lot of bad form.
Unless something happened that I don't know about.
Yeah, but I think it's different with Greg Olson. That's like, you consider him a friend. You've said that. I don't like, he's been on your podcast, but at the same time, what does Tim Dillon owe? I mean,
clearly nothing.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it's how it happened, but like Little Sass, who goes on the road and does comedy, meets Tim Dillon. He's like, hey, we have a guy, you should hire him. It's like,
we're also speculating too. I think they're both from Long Island. Who knows if they had a previous relationship?
Yeah, I don't know that Barstool is the like connection between Sass and Tim Dillon.
Well, it's not about Sass, I guess. It's the Owen connection to Tim Dillon.
Yeah.
And again, let me be very clear. It's an upgraded thing, job, sounds like what I've been told. Great gig, what Owen wants to do. So you always want upward mobility.
Yeah.
I do think there's enough. Again, I feel like Tim Dillon's been on mine. He, again, has done KFC a bunch. I don't know if he's done. I do think there's enough where the right thing to do would have been to mention it to me or somebody. Yes, I do believe that.
So just like a little courtesy thing. And this.
Do you have any issues with this? And I wouldn't have, because it's a thing. But again, let me put it this way. I went into Andrew Schultz's and did Andrew Schultz's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If there's somebody there, then I'm like, ooh, I like this guy. Offering him like a gig when I knew he worked there, I would talk to Andrew first. And I barely know Andrew Schultz.
Yeah. And do we know for sure this didn't happen? Maybe he reached out to Big Cat because he's more aligned with Big Cat.
I do not think that has happened, because I talked to briefly to Big Cat about that.
Okay.
Well, I was just being like, how'd that happen? Like, where is this connection?
Yeah. Okay.
And he didn't know, by the way. So he didn't. And we could be out of turn in terms of how they know each other or anything. But I could be greatly like misreading how Tim Dillon feels about Barstool.
I mean, I think he's spoken very highly of you in the past. So
correct.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe because like comedians are so independent, like I don't know. So,
and by the way, everything, it's like, and talk to everybody on the Yak, pros and cons. I think everybody's like, you got to go. It's a great opportunity. And so that, don't confuse what I'm saying. It's like, oh, really? Like,
so your issue is not with Owen at all. You're more, not even an issue, just like you think it's a little funny that Tim did not reach out to you.
Yeah, I think if you're going to hire an employee of ours to come work for you, I bet in most cases there is a degree of common courtesy if you're like kind of friendly with the organization that you're hiring from.
Yeah, I already foresee a situation here where HR or something hires someone from like Impulsive or Nelk, and then you did not know about it, and then someone comes at you about it. So
what do you mean?
Like I could just see like someone's like, oh, we got a new social guy from wherever, and you didn't know, and then this situation like, oh, Dave,
like reverse, you mean?
Yes, yeah, but obviously you would do it unintentionally, but
well,
just saying,
it's a little different though. Like, I mean, Tim Dillon hired him to be like his right-hand man.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim, like, if we're saying some low-level like person, whatever, that's one thing. Like, if I hired somebody to be my right-hand man, I would certainly know where they came from.
Yeah. Well, like, how did Kevin and Brady work?
He was done with Brady.
Yeah, he applied for the job and came, and he was the one that reached out to us. It wasn't vice versa.
And if Owen did that, then everything I've said is totally inaccurate.
So if he applied, if he reached out, if he
totally.
Okay.
Although still, I probably even would mention it, but
yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, congrats to Owen. That's an awesome opportunity, and it's going to be missed. Will Compton worked out for the Falcons. They also announced busting re-ups for 2 years.
Yeah, good. They were growing. They're great. So happy with that.
Tough negotiation. Did it go like I know you said they were
Who's?
Compton's.
Yeah, they were fucking tough negotiators.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you say the one thing? I think we left something out. Or there was one where you and him like did not see eye to eye. Is that you? I think you said you'd reveal it once it went signed. And you and Will were like, "Oh no, man! Like we're not." You guys kept
Was it the agent thing?
Yeah.
No. I think it was something to do with the value that I feel Barstool brings to content creators, but I don't remember it exactly.
And you thought it was
no, it wasn't like he wasn't saying there wasn't value. He that wasn't it, or else they wouldn't be here. I forget exactly. I'd have to talk to him. I forget right now.
Mm-hmm. So congrats to Bustin, 2 more years. Nadu's dick is somewhere on OnlyFans. How's the hunt going?
I thought I had the girl, and I reached out to her, and she said it wasn't. So it's gone nowhere. I don't know if it's been taken down. I don't know I'm no closer to capturing Nadu's dick than I was 2 weeks ago.
Nothing from Detective Balls?
Nothing.
Nothing? All right, well.
What am I looking at right here? Hold on. I just want to. All right, no, I'm good. Go ahead.
If you got the link for Nadu's dick, send it, Dave. Send it your way.
Yeah, I don't even know how you know it's Nadu's dick.
Yeah. He told me, well, I don't know if I get. He said there might be some things in the background that you'd be able to.
Really?
Yes. So a real good detective would be able to.
I mean, I don't know how deep we actually want to go.
Someone will do it. Well, I saw Stu. He teased, but it was false that he was leaving. Anything?
I think Dan nailed it. He's a sympathy grifter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I love Stu. I hope he stays.
Who doesn't
strong.
love Stu?
Yeah.
I love him more when I'm not going to when I'm not with him a lot. I love him.
Yeah. And then last thing here, very important. The Pat Bev podcast is now live.
Yeah, and it's great. Everyone's listening, a lot of good clips. Roan loved it. Roan's like, I had 4 pages of notes. I didn't look down once. So I'm excited. It's a big step for us, big podcast, and hopefully it explodes.
Pat Bev has a little Dave Portnoy issue with names. He called you, I think, Robert Portnoy.
It's tough.
That's tough. He's like, I'm a big fan. I follow Robert Portnoy. It's like that.
It's tough.
Ron corrected him.
Tough.
That's Ron. He called Ron.
Yeah, no, what are you going to do?
I think it's just.
I don't really care, but why would he know my name? I've only talked to him once.
Guys, do you know, do they have their own YouTube, social accounts and everything?
I listened to it this morning. It's awesome. There's so many things like he's what you'd expect, what we expected, I think, of kind of just saying what's on his mind. It's on Spotify, Pat Bev pod on social, Apple, everywhere, YouTube. The video's up there. It goes up at 6 a.m. and the video comes out a couple hours later, but they're all up now.
Awesome. Well, that's it, Dave. Anything else?
No, it's a hell of a show.
Hell of a show.
Hell of a show, and say what you want about him. When he's unleashed, there's nobody like him. It's good and bad. It's like, I don't want people getting knocked out with high noon cans, but nobody can deliver like that.
You're right about that. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back next week. We'll see you then.